Hey guys, how's it going? Today I want to speak about the subject of why are humans susceptible to magical thinking? Well, I think a lot of times we think about magic when we are in moments of tragedy. The more sadness we have, the more we want to believe in magic. And at the same time, I think that in the olden times, people didn't have a lot of knowledge about science and all the other things that encompass that, and they had to invent stuff. They had to figure out why the sky was there, why we had gravity, why we have stars in the sky, and they also didn't really understand why there was rain and thunder and snow and a lot of earthquakes and different activities that just happen throughout the days and years of the earth, basically. And also at the same time, I think a lot of magic happens too when there's the unknown, such as death. We as a human species often live life in a very specific way where we kind of don't speak so much about death. We kind of overlook it, even though it happens to every single person who is born on this earth, including birds, flies, ants, wasps, you name it. Whatever is born, whatever is here on this earth will eventually die or become something else. Even inanimate objects, in some way, they are one thing at one moment, and then they get crushed or they get burnt or they get recycled and stuff like that, and they become something else. But I think we have this kind of want to know what is beyond. We want to understand. That comes with the fact that we have consciousness. They say that animals don't have consciousness, but I think they do in some way. They just have it in a different way because they clearly understand when someone has died. They mourn it, they seek it, you can see their sadness. They're not so much different than us, and I'm pretty sure that they have their own belief in their own way. But we definitely, the more we have sadness in our life, the more we begin to go into magic in some way. We go into trying to understand the beyond, trying to understand these things. And I think the more we are rich, the less we tend to do that kind of stuff. We forget about it and we look at the world as a positive place, because that's the thing, is you don't really want to in some way believe that this is it. I think a lot of people don't want to believe that what is presented to us in front of us is basically what it is, and we want to have something that's beyond, that's grander, that is much grander. And I do think in some way that there is something that's grander, but a lot of it is organized chaos. If you really look at the history of the world, 99.9% of species that have ever existed on this earth have been extinct. And we are, as a society, trying to hold on to that because I think subconsciously we know that we are at a very good place in time, even though there's wars and there's many different things. There's disease, there's poverty, there's a lot of sad things. I think that we, even though there might be some places where there's hurricanes and all that stuff, we still live in a certain time of this earth where weather is not too bad and where the catastrophes happen, but they're not there all the time in every place of the earth. And I think that subconsciously we know that, and we're at a great place in time, really, where we have a pretty good balance of science happening and also religion in some way. But at the same time, I think that anything that is too extreme in any way, anything that is extreme will basically ruin us. That's why, for example, there's too much use of fossil fuel and it's heating of the earth. There's the warming of the earth. But these are also things that happen throughout throughout whatever is happening, the seismic activities and all that stuff. So that's also something that we have to bear in mind, because it's not that simple. It's not that simple to just think that we take everything for granted. Basically, what's happening is that we are in this place in time, and I think that are desperate once again. They want to believe in magic, and in some way, by believing in that magic and believing in that positive thinking, you are creating magic, because a lot of it is literally a state of mind. If you think that you are healthy and young, well, you're going to have a much better chance of being able to overcome that and to actually be what you are thinking. Whereas if you think that you're always sick, handicapped, that everything is piling up on you, that life is just sad and you can't keep up with the bills, you can't get proper jobs, why is this always happening to me? Well, then the world will literally be that. So I think in some way people who believe in that magic are not so wrong. It's not Harry Potter kind of magic. It's not what you would see in films with flames and powers going out and levitation and all that stuff. But it's the magic that can be created within your brain, because it's kind of like when they've tested water and they looked at the cells of water and they saw that if you scream at water, or if you have a peaceful conversation on water, if you have different kind of ways that are run through water, you can actually look at the cells of the water and you see that they take on different patterns, and that's kind of magical in some way. And obviously, because we're made out of mostly water, if you're thinking positively, if you're calm, if you don't make your heart beat too fast, if everything is kind of zen within you, then it kind of makes sense. It's kind of like a sports car or any car. If you drive it at a super intense RPM, the engine's just going to be turning so fast that eventually it gets used. It'll work fine for a pretty long time that way, but eventually if you abuse it over and over again, well, it's going to break much faster than if you were coasting at 50, 60 miles an hour. There's a big difference in these things, and it kind of goes within the same realm of the magic that is happening in our brain. If we're always worrying, if we're always sad, if we're always depressed, if we're always thinking the negativity, if we're just getting stressed and even in the same time like partying too much or drinking too much or doing enormous amount of drugs that is just giving a lot of stress to your body, well, eventually it's going to give up, because we're mechanical in our organic way with our organs. If that is a good metaphor for you. But I really think that's where the magic lies, is in the positivity, being able to have a great outlook on the world, and then also dreaming. But I don't think it's within the realm of being sad, or you have to be sad sometimes, but you have to find that balance within yourself in order to succeed at overcoming everything, and that's where the magic will come, and the world will literally become magical to you and actually the people around you, because you'll be a positive influence to them too. Okay, that's it. That's all I have to say on the subject. Have a great day, and I will talk to you soon.